There's a specific kind of silence that happens the moment you realize another guy is interested in the same girl you are. It's not loud, it doesn't announce itself, it just settles into your chest like cold water. And suddenly everything feels slightly more complicated than it did 5 minutes ago. You start noticing little things, the way he laughs a little too easily around her, the way she responds, the way your own thoughts begin to spiral in directions you didn't invite them to go. And the worst part? You haven't even done anything wrong. You just wanted to get to know someone. And now it feels like a competition you never signed up for. If you've ever felt that, and I mean really felt it, in that specific, uncomfortable way, then you're exactly where you need to be right now.
Before we go deeper, I want to say something directly. If this kind of psychological insight is something you want more of, content about confidence, human behavior, relationships, and how the mind actually works under pressure, hitting subscribe right now is genuinely worth your time. Not because this channel needs your number, but because most of what we talk about here is the kind of stuff nobody teaches you growing up. The stuff you have to figure out the hard way, usually after you've already made the mistake. Subscribing means you don't have to keep doing that. All right, let's get into it. Here's the first thing you need to understand, and it's not what most people tell you. The discomfort you feel when another guy enters the picture isn't weakness. It's not insecurity at its core. It's biology. Your nervous system was literally wired over thousands of years to perceive social competition as a threat to survival. Back when belonging to a group meant the difference between life and death, being rejected, outcompeted, or pushed to the outside wasn't just emotionally painful, it was dangerous. So your brain developed an alarm system. And that alarm, it doesn't know the difference between a rival in a prehistoric tribe and a guy named Tyler who started texting the girl you like last Tuesday. It treats them exactly the same.
That's why your thoughts get louder. That's why you start overthinking every interaction you've had with her. That's why you replay conversations, second-guess your words, and suddenly feel an urgency that wasn't there before. It's not because you're needy, it's because your survival wiring got activated. Understanding that distinction is the beginning of actually handling this well. Now here's where most guys go wrong, and I want you to really sit with this. The moment another guy appears on the scene, the instinct is to shift focus. Suddenly, instead of thinking about who this girl actually is and whether she's genuinely someone you connect with, you start thinking about him. You start sizing him up. You wonder if he's funnier, more confident, better looking, more financially stable. You start competing in your own imagination against a guy you barely know for a woman who hasn't even made a decision yet. And here's the psychological trap in that. The moment you start competing against him, you've already lost track of yourself.
This is what psychologists call ego threat response. When we perceive a rival, the ego's first move is comparison. And comparison almost always pulls you out of your natural state and into a performance. You stop being yourself and start being a version of yourself that's trying to win. And people feel that shift. She feels it. It becomes less attractive, not more. Because what actually draws people in is presence. Someone who is genuinely, comfortably themselves, not someone who's subtly auditioning. So what do you actually do? You redirect your attention back to where it belongs, to your own behavior, your own presence, and your own clarity about what you actually want. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Do you actually like this girl, or do you like the idea of winning her? Because those two things feel the same in the moment, but they produce very different behaviors. If you genuinely like her, your goal becomes connection, understanding her, being honest, being consistent, showing up as someone real. If what you're feeling is more about the competition, then the other guy's presence is just triggering something older in you, a need to prove yourself, to be chosen, to not lose. And that's worth knowing, because the approach is different.